here in Monaco for Unite, an event organized by the Private Investment Group in order to bring together countries, governments, reputable families and funds and find together new investment opportunities. We have the pleasure to have with us the CEO and founder of the Private Investment Group, Alastair Lidel. Alastair, it's a pleasure to welcome you to Monaco.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Tell us a few words about serendipity, because you call it an evening of serendipity. I would like to know why.
So for me, well, for those who aren't familiar, Serendipity is one of those great rom-com films that many of us enjoyed in the late 90s. And that's where I learned what serendipity was, fortunate accidents. And for us, organic fortunate accidents are something which can transform personal life, professional life, anything. So creating serendipity is about creating scenarios and moments where those fortunate accidents can happen. So Unite for us as a brand within the group is really about, it doesn't really have much of an agenda. Mm-hmm. It's not a trade show, it's not a conference, it's very much to do with bringing in inspirational minds, successful people, thought leadership, and allowing those minds to be together in one single place.
So what does exactly the Private Investment Group do?
So the Private Investment Group at its core works with governments, works with private families, Middle East, APAC region, Europe, US, to bring together mandated deployment of capital to sectors which are looking for that investment. Strategic partnerships, obviously with DMCC, with the government in Abu Dhabi, in the Ministry of Investment in Saudi Arabia, EDB in Bahrain, etc., which allows us to really find all the value add that part of the world is looking to find.
And especially in these moments, I think all these parts of the world are really looking for real value added.
Yeah, the huge amounts of capital are looking to be deployed. You look at supply chain, logistics, agricultural technologies, infrastructural tech. These types of sectors are.
So you cover several industries.
Yeah. So for us, we work probably 50% with direct businesses opportunities. And the remainder is funds, whether it's hedge funds, private equity funds. We've just completed a raise for a new fund in the US.
And of course, you have a global overview of the current situation. How has the pandemic affected the companies?
I think those that have struggled is where they've been too rigid, too fixed in their approach. You've got to be flexible, you've got to be adaptable. It's a horrendously difficult time. You can't travel, everything's by Zoom. When you talk about the Middle East, it's an area where phrases like breaking bread together allow you to build those stronger forms. Having said that, 2020 was the largest year for deployment of capital from the Middle East, 27 billion just from the UAE.
Amazing.
Into businesses, 98% conducted by Zoom. So it just shows.
Who would have thought that even by Zoom, business is still possible to grow in a fantastic way?
Exactly. Because it allows you to focus very much on
more the practical side of it.
Yeah, what's important to say. You have 30 minutes, you don't have a 90-minute lunch. You've got 30 minutes to get exactly what you want to say. So for us, when we work with a business, we're actually helping them to strategically understand how to get that message across. What's the value add? What jobs are they creating? How, 2030 vision in Saudi, 2040 vision in Dubai.
Yeah.
How are you adding to that vision? And if you can find how you're adding to it, then you'll have the warmest welcome you'll ever find.
For sure. Yeah. Now, dealing with so many CEOs and founders of big companies, what have you noticed would be the main need at the moment? Is there something very specific that they are looking for at the moment, perhaps in terms of digital development or so on?
I think, for us, we've got a lot of companies at the moment who they're generating good revenues, they're good EBITDA in their own regions, their home regions, whether it's the US or whether it's Europe. You suddenly got brands that probably weren't planning on expanding into new markets, who now are saying, well, actually, we should It's
And with the digital, it could be quite benefic.
yeah, exactly, and you know, supply chain technology is improving, which means delivery, proof of delivery.
Yeah.
There's so many verticals which are expanding. You look at Abu Dhabi ADQ. You know, it's now the third sovereign fund of Abu Dhabi, 100 billion of liquidity injected into their fund. There was press 3 weeks ago, they cannot deploy fast enough. So if you're a business who is in
Unbelievable.
any sector which is
Yeah.
on their mandate, which is what we help with, you should be knocking on their door.
For sure.
Yeah.
And give a hand. Speaking of digital, what are the current trends that you've noticed in the digital sector? In terms of banks or whichever industry might be.
I mean, fintech and you know is always going to be, it's always going to be at the forefront. It's financial technology. You know, the DeFi space is a bit of a bone of contention when it comes to those technologies. I think quite a bit more proof of concept needs to happen for anything beyond, you know, the sort of current adoption rates. Supply chain logistics, they're really the
Massive change.
Massive
Yeah.
businesses. 60% of all the costs of delivery is in the last mile. Because if you order something on Noon in Dubai or Amazon in Monaco, you just think, oh, fantastic, that's a cheap delivery price. What you don't realize is that 90% of your own cost is still on the human element of delivering that package. So when you can reduce that and create an infrastructural technology which obliterates that costing, that's transformative. That's something that Amazon hasn't even figured out yet. So, you know, we're working with some companies that have done that, who are receiving deployments from Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Saudi. So, yeah, there's a lot of exciting developments going to happen. I wouldn't necessarily say motivated or because of COVID.
Yeah.
I think it's just
It would have been anyway a transition. Perhaps this just accelerated the change.
It's forced into a different gear.
Yeah.
It just has to go a bit faster.
Yeah. In terms of banks, now there are many new banks coming up on the market, especially digital banks. What have you noticed, and how is this impacting the current banks that we know, the banking system as we know it, the traditional system?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, at the end of the day, if you describe something that sounds too good to be true, people will doubt it. If you are a bank that runs in a way that has done the same since 1868, people are going to trust it. But at the same time, it doesn't operate at a speed. You know, I send a payment in Europe, it should not take 3 days to arrive. It doesn't. It takes.
It's not normal for our society nowadays.
No.
Yeah.
But it is. There's a middle ground.
Yeah.
You know, it is. It should not be anti-bank, and it should not be pro-decentralization, because then you have no regulation, and then everything gets very, very dangerous. It's a middle ground. But I think, you know, you look at what JP Morgan. A friend of mine, Ollie Harris, he heads up Quorum for JP Morgan.
Yep.
You know, they're pumping billions of dollars into blockchain technology. MasterCard, Visa, they're all there. They're just not public products. And we also, a lot of us are now using things day to day.
No.
We don't even realize.
No. Yeah.
That's actually interesting for me. It's companies that do not promote themselves saying, we're a blockchain company. Well, that's not a sector.
Yeah.
You're a fintech company, or you're an agriculture. If you utilize blockchain technology, fantastic.
Exactly.
But you wouldn't turn around and say we're a Java company, or
exactly.
we're a C++ company. No, it's just the tech that your company's built on. So it's become almost sort of a status of rebellion to say we're a blockchain company.
Yeah.
So disruptive. But
I think it's very fancy at the moment to say we're a blockchain company, we're doing this and that, and
anti-establishment.
Yeah. What do you think about the Monaco market?
I mean, the Monaco market for me shares quite a lot of similarities with Dubai. You know, you've got businesses piling in, looking to find partners, raise capital, find investment. But there's a big focus on trying to create homegrown businesses. You know, so for us, working with the Dubai government and developments today with the Monaco government has allowed us to find how we link those two areas together, how we then generate trades and businesses to cross-pollinate between the two countries.
Yeah.
Monaco has obviously a population probably with some of the most insightful, historical, successful people in the world. That's knowledge. You know, the knowledge in Monaco is, people always talk about the net worth and the wealth. The knowledge here is incredible. So it's harnessing that. And if you can harness that, then you can find a lot of entrepreneurs and future rising stars who hopefully we can support a little bit on their way.
Yeah. Is there any particular industry that is more active in Monaco, or throughout the connections between the Monaco and
I mean, I think if you look at
other countries?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at gold, you look at diamonds, real estate, of course, but perhaps not as diversified. There's not so much need because a good investment here can always return, a good ROI. But what I do hear quite a lot of here, which is exciting, is those traditional sectors and how new technology can benefit them. You know, the work Frederick Genter has done here in the government digitization is fantastic. The Minister of Finance, Joe Castellini, who we met with today, talking about their plans and joining us in Dubai for Expo 2020 in the Monaco Pavilion, which will be fantastic.
Fantastic,
it's exciting times, and Monaco has an incredible amount to offer. But I definitely get a feeling there's a desire to really have some homegrown exports rather than just an investment.
Yeah.
It's something that's grown here.
I think it will come. I think it's still the beginning, but it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, absolutely.
That already started and now is probably growing faster and faster.
It takes time.
Yeah.
UAE, for example, has been looking at venture.
Yeah.
The seed to Series A for 15 years.
Yeah.
It's only in the last 2-3 years where what I would say real money is available for those venture programs. It takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time for people.
Speaking of money, do you think Bitcoin is the future of money?
I think it has a place. Definitely has a place.
Yeah.
I think it's, but it also proves what something can be. Tim Berners-Lee created the intranet. It's not the internet we know today, per se, but what it did was show what it could be. It shows what the basic conceptual idea does.
Yeah.
For me, that's Bitcoin. Bitcoin, from a technical perspective, is slow in exchanging. There are faults with it. Of course there are. It was the first, basically.
It's at the beginning, yes. It's something that needs to evolve and grow and develop over time.
It's the technology is built on, which is where the value is. As an investment, in my personal opinion, and not as investment advice, but if you've got something you want to play with, if you ever go to the horse racing, if you ever go
just go
if you've got something that you just want to, do it,
go and play and
wait 5, 10, 15, 20 years, do it. But no, it's an incredible proof of concept that will change the world. Whether it's Bitcoin specifically that does that, I personally wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
But the technology is built on will.
Yeah. Do you think that the market is safe at the moment for these type of investments?
My issue with it is it's event driven. That's it. It's event driven. If we hear about Elon Musk, a tweet can fluctuate a price by $8 billion. But then at the same time we hear Cristiano Ronaldo moving a bottle of Coke.
Totally.
And $4 billion drops off the value of Coca-Cola. At the same time, that's gone back up, and the advertising that they received from him doing that would have cost them about $200 million. So,
by the way, speaking of the power of social media and digital, and
who wins in the end?
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating as a concept. I wouldn't say it would be a major part of anyone's portfolio. That's not to devalue what its importance is.
Yep.
But there are other more There are other high-risk areas which still have a little bit more stability, or at least an element of predictability, more than Bitcoin.
Yeah. What are the future plans for your company?
I mean, so for us, we're looking. Obviously, we have Unite, which is this evening, which will be at the World Economic Forum in January, Dubai in September just before the launch of Expo, New York, Saudi Arabia next year. As a company, for us, we're bringing in some incredible funds which we're partnering with. We are developing new initiatives with the government in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And then at the core, from where it all started, which is great funds. We've got some incredible food security funds we're raising for. Which these are companies that created things like Impossible Foods, Beyond Meat. These are highly successful businesses that we then get to help them form and raise and then create those businesses. So it's going to be
many
a busy,
future plans.
Yeah.
You're going to be busy in the upcoming years. Well, we wish you
time.
lots of luck with all your projects.
Thank you very
and thank
much.
you so much for sharing all this with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.